There, so today we have another review. This is a beer from Roaring Table. Excuse me, this is their Festbier. So I don't know why they have to do it. Yes, so we have like creep, holiday creep, blah blah. Seasonals have to come out earlier to sort of hit the market. Ideally you like want to be the first person to have like a pumpkin beer on the shelf, right? Like you take up space, blah blah. It sells out, blah blah, and they order again. So pumpkin beer does that. Oktoberfest beer does that. Oktoberfest is late September. This was canned 2 months before that, or literally like a week ago. So, all right, whatever. Festbier, seasonal. There's not. What else do you do during the summer? Like, what do you produce during the summer otherwise if it's not Festbier? All right, fine. It's Festbier. So, Festbier being made in July, right? Hey, it is what it like for small breweries. Like I don't think you necessarily have to do this kind of stuff, but I'm sure they have reasoning. So, hey, yeah. Again, this is for large breweries that have to distribute, have to make all this like planning schedule and like distribution, and then hitting the shelves, and then like there's all these like moving parts. For a small brewery, you're like, all right, well I'm gonna like can some beer, sell some beer, and the next batch, right? Like it's more nimble. But hey, I'm not bitching about it. Like, I don't really care. Festbier. I love Festbier. I wish Festbier was around all the time. 5.8% on point on the ABV. Okay. So inspired by, served by a modern lager served by Therensenweiss. Therensenweiss? I don't know who that is. Every September. Crisp, clean, blah, blah, bready malt. Floral, gentle, noble hop. Magnum and Mittelfreu. So pretty spot on. Magnum for the bitterness, Mittelfreu for the noble hop character, Festbier. So this is the kind of beer they serve at Oktoberfest versus the stuff that we get here and a lot of brewers make is Märzen, which is darker. So, obviously if you're going to be at like a beer festival, ideally you want to do something light and crushable. Unfortunately, it's like towards 6%, so it's not that crushable. Not like something like America where people drink like 4.2% beer and could like crush endlessly versus like 6%. You're actually gonna hit it at some point, right? Beer is quite nice, not brilliantly clear, which is interesting because the last beer I had for them was brilliantly clear, but this is not for a German style lager. Beer comes in a light gold color, has a medium minus haze to it. Wonderful, tight, bubbled, sustaining large head. Oh yeah, it smells great. I mean, it smells like German ingredients. I mean, that's just, So yeah, that's just like Bohemian Pilsner malt, like just Pilsner malt, like all light grainy character. Crack grains, a little sweet, slightly sweet. I get a little bit of this kind of like light touch of honey malt character. The hops sing in a little bit, like slightly lemongrass lemony, like yeah, it smells quite nice. Yeah, it smells really nice and pretty in German. Nice. So this is like, how do you describe it? I mean, ideally it's like a little bit like Helles, but like just deeper, and their Helles is already deep. And I honestly, on their Helles, almost called 6% on that. Like, or at least taste like 6%. So how does this differentiate? This, for me, strangely enough, doesn't have as much base tone malt character, which you'd expect for like a basically 6% beer. Instead, this beer is a little sweeter. That's what I get. I feel like I'm getting more. Instead of like more base tone, I'm getting more of this. Like you get top tones, you get mid tones, and you get bottom tones, right? Like, I don't know. Again, these things are very abstract, and like I hope it makes sense for like the analogies always give like roller coaster rides or like music, where like boom boom boom, like roller coasters go there. You get a wave of the experience, but also there's notes that you hit on music that are like top, mid, and bass. I get a lot of mid tones. It has like more mouthfeel for sure compared to Helles. Like there's definitely something on this beer just has like more mouthfeel. Like it's got a nice chew to it. it's a very freshly malty, which I like. Great examples of like fresh lager, at least German style. You just like, you feel like there's like the difference between beers that taste. For me, the great ones I've had are the ones that where you feel like the malt is expressed in the glass, like because that's sort of the goal, right? Like your lager is so blank, where like lager yeast doesn't do anything, and like, or ideally, and the water is like just there to support everything. The hops are there to support everything. Sometimes the malt is there just like to show, and sometimes like you have a tasty beer, blah blah, but sometimes like the malt just keeps going. Sort of like hop saturation. There's malt saturation, I find. So like, yeah, it just tastes fresh. Like there's so much echoing malt character to like, all the way. So cool. Roaring Tables is the best, right? Roaring Tables is able to saturate your palate with hops on like a California style pills, but then also do it with malts on a German style Festbier. Crazy. Yeah, I mean, that's just super drinkable. It's just a high, like, I mean, yeah, compared to the Helles, it just has more like malt sweetness in the middle. You get this like kind of like honeycomb kind of sweetness that comes in that is a little bit oomph. Hops a little bit more gentle, maybe. Less of that clarity, because I think there's more sweetness in the mid palate, so that you're not tasting that kind of base tone of the Pilsner malt that you're using. I suspect it's a similar recipe, like, you know, you're making a Helles versus a Festbier. There might be maybe some bodybuilding kind of like or other malts in here versus like their Helles. Whereas that beer is supposed to be skinny as hell. This is up at 6%, basically, and but just tasty. I mean, it's just like, it's aqueous, it washes away, it's super drinkable, it's super dangerous. Whereas a Helles is like a crusher, I just don't have to think about. This one's where like, I probably want to watch myself. Granted, the two beers are like, you know, 5-6%, not a world of difference, but like this one, I'm gonna take it a little bit easier, just because like it just doesn't drink as like snappy as the Helles, even though the Helles was not like crisp or not that hoppy. So interesting. So as for rating, let's go with the solid. Beautiful carb on here. Sits at a medium carb. Allows everything to just wash off. The malts are just like ripping out your palate, like just keeps going, and just like crack grains, fresh bread, a little bit of brioche, and just like some of that honeycomb thing I was talking about. Really nice. Awesome. Yeah, honeycomb syrup even. Yeah. So that's tasty as hell. Repeatability goes to the Helles. Go ahead and 95 on this guy. 95. That's the Festbier from Roaring Table. Kill it. Again, the beers just don't stop impressing. Like, you know, I don't need to talk this much about beer sometimes, but when beer's so good from a brewery that just keeps knocking it out of the park, just nonstop, like, what else can you say? So that makes a good reference to find some Festbier. I'm gonna try to find some Festbier for you guys. I avoid like a lot of like Festbier medicine, like it's hitting the shelves right now. And you guys post comments if you ever care. Of any specific beers. You guys have seen videos. I mean, just look at my videos. I have tons of content of like Manson, Oktoberfest, Festbier, blah, blah, blah. But if you want me to do it every year, go ahead. Let me know. Cheers later.